All right, guys. Welcome to Daily Read at www.realhistoryww.com. WW is short for worldwide. Okay. This will be the working website. However, there will be others. For example, Science Daily, Rasta Livewire, Live Science, archaeology.org, grahamhancock.com, and the Public Library of Science, or PLOS. Excuse me. Okay, so now we'll have some subsections. For example, we'll have a book of the quarter after I reach the first 500 subscriptions or subscribers. The first book will be by Sheikh Enta Diop. It's called The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality. And we'll discuss a little bit more about him later. We'll also be having a PowerPoint presentations with varying topics. And this will be every Saturday. We'll also have a picture of the day, and we will also have a homework section where we will study certain topics and have discussions about them after. Okay? With that being said, I'm going to introduce everyone once again to Real History, www.com. WW is short, once again, for worldwide. Okay, so right now I'm starting off on my phone, guys, but I promise everything will be done from my computer more sooner than later. So the premise of this website is that the world's first human beings and all their civilizations were diverse blacks. Okay, black being a color, not a look. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm just going to go over the website, and you guys can check it out. And once we start to build up, I'm going to have all the PowerPoint presentations and things like that. Okay. Now, on this website, so I'm going to make it larger. You can always, if you choose, you can have a simplified view. So you can click on Show Simplified View. It'll go over to that page. For some reason it's slow right now. Okay, it's not working. Okay, wonderful. So let's click back over. Try it again. Simplified view. Okay, well, it's not cooperating right now, so let's forget about that. But that's an option. And basically what it does is it just makes everything more simplified. But anyways, moving on. What we can do, it talks about ancient Kemet, which is now called modern Egypt, prehistory, and things like that. You can click on a certain subsection. For example, Egypt number 6. Click that, and it'll show you, the third intermediate period. And you can go through this, and you can read about all the cultures. You can read about the Libyans, the countries west of Egypt. You can see an ancient Libyan right here. Of course, it's a black man. Ancient Libya, the Libu, bronze statue inlaid with gold, silver from the reign of Ramesses II. It's in the Louvre Museum. Okay, this one shows you the Sphinx of Poussinus. And guys, the word Sphinx is not necessarily accurate. The Sphinx is Greek for meaning to strangle or to hold. And there are two sphincter muscles on the human body. You have sphincter muscles in your eyes. You strangle or to hold. You can hold your eyes shut, or you can hold them open. And obviously we have an anus, right? And so you also have a sphincter muscle there. So that's not the correct name. But anyways, that's a story for another time. All right, so you go through the different sections. You see the different pharaohs. The Moors, it talks about the Moors who went into Europe. Okay, it talks about the Nubians, shows you images. For example, fragment from the tomb of Horemheb, Nubian prisoners. Okay, it goes to show you Nubian archers. It goes to different Taharka pharaohs, the Assyrians. You see, the Assyrians were black-skinned human beings. The Persians were black-skinned human beings, but many variations of the nose, the lips, the eyes, the skull, many hair types. Because black peoples are diverse. We don't all look the same. These are Assyrian soldiers. Notice their locks. Okay. This is Assyrian king Esarhaddon. Okay. And you can go through whole sections. And this is another pharaoh, Tanwati Mawani, as the god Amun. I probably didn't say his name correctly. Okay, guys, so that's just a brief synopsis of that. And you could go through every section: ancient Sumer, Agad, Assyria, Mesopotamia, modern Iraq, ancient Elam, the Elamites, and Persia, modern Iran, ancient Canaan and Phoenicia, modern Israel and Palestine, the original black civilizations of Crete and Greece. Yes, they were all diverse black people. The Minoan and the Mycenaean, the original black civilizations of Italy, the Etruscans. All human beings had black skin first, guys. The original Indus Valley peoples, those of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, modern India and Pakistan, those original peoples were black-skinned peoples with straight hair. Okay, so welcome to Real History Worldwide. You can go through all this. Real History is being blocked, different articles. This is shows you the different subsections or sections. All right, so we can go down here, and we can check out Germany, History of the Black Holy Roman Empire. If you want to read on that, you can click there. And History of the Original Black Cultures of Europe. Because Europe, believe it or not, was ruled by blacks all the way up, okay? Even the King of Britain in 1776 is described as being as black as a Spaniard or a Jew, but that's a story for another time. And it goes through prehistory. You just go ahead and read it up, guys. There's so many articles, so many scientific, articles that you can read on. Okay. So with that being said, you can go to Black Britain. Yes, Britain was black first. Africa populated the earth. All human beings have black skin first. Okay. And you can go through all the stories. It shows you what they thought. An ancient European hunter-gatherer man had dark skin and blue eyes. A new genetic analysis has revealed the analysis of the man who lived in modern-day Spain only about 7,000 years ago show light-skinned genes in Europeans evolved much more recently than previously thought. Which is nonsense, guys, because the light skin comes from black skin through a mutation in the mechanism that produces black skin. That's called a gene. Some of these genes associated with these mutations are called the SLC45A2 or the SLC24A5. Okay, they did not originate in Europe. They invaded the original diverse black cultures of Europe. Okay, but this is a fake image, and here's what the first Europeans with blue eyes would have looked like. Notice they always try to make everything brown. Okay, hunter-gatherers, some of them blue-eyed, who came from Africa more than 40,000 years ago. And I'm just giving you a brief synopsis, so you're going to have to read the whole articles. They would have looked like this. First Europeans. Middle Eastern farmers who migrated west much more recently, they would have looked like this. Let's pull it up a little bit. You see a Libyan, a Canaanite, a Syrian, a Nubian, bowed to Pharaoh. They're all melanated peoples, man. Okay? Okay, and a mysterious population whose range may have spanned northern Europe and Siberia. We know that's the peoples who invaded from Central Asia, the redheads, blondes, blue eyes, etc. So they're not mysterious. They just don't want people to know the true history, guys. And that's why we have to study to show ourselves approved. Some of the first Europeans, bones found. That's a drawing of her. Europeans, black-skinned peoples. Okay, and you can just read down, keep going. Shows you some of the first Europeans, different cultures. And this is what, for example, Cheddar Man. Remember the one I just showed you up top? They said was the guy, and they made him brown. no, actually, he looks like this. But obviously, they made him with straight hair, which is nonsense. I mean, you can have a black person with straight hair and blue eyes, yes, but the first Europeans were woolly-haired peoples because woolly hair is the dominant trait, and a code change or mutation in that mechanism that produces the spirals tells the gene to omit making spirals, and by omitting spirals, you get the opposite, which is straight. So woolly-haired peoples can produce straight-haired babies. But two straight-haired peoples cannot produce a woolly-haired person, so it would be scientifically impossible for straight hair to have reached Europe before woolly hair, which existed before it, if you would feel what I'm saying. Excuse me. Anyways, so you can go through all of this, and anyways, I'm not going to take too long. We've got some more sections. You can go down, you can read the history of North Africa. If you want to click on that, and you can go North Africa history. And you look at the Amazi, you can see they're hybrid peoples now. The Tuareg, black peoples. And what they did when they came in, they mixed with the black peoples and kind of hijacked their identity, okay? We see in the languages of the people who call the Berbers Moors, we see a common thread that the word Moor relates to a topographical feature of the earth, wasteland, dead land, being mindful that North Africa is mainly desert. It would seem that Moor originally meant people of the North African wasteland, deadlands, deserts, okay? And it goes through the cave paintings of the original peoples of North Africa. Obviously, there are black peoples there. You can check that out and see, yep, North Africa, so far, so good. At least we know that whites first showed up after the Tassili Niger art was created. Yep, because they're all black people's here. So Africa, North was all black before. And you go to the different places, and here are some of the people. Notice they're black peoples, but notice they have many variations of the nose. Okay, this is North Africa. Okay. Yep, all black, and here are the invaders. We know these are not our peoples. These are fake rock art created. Okay, examples of Winifred's, Brunton's racist and false handiwork. We know this is fake. And this goes to show you of the original human beings. All these skulls are black peoples, diverse black peoples. Then it goes to Tunisia, Libya, they're black peoples. This is the Wen Mohugiag mummy, the black mummy of Mohugiag. See, the term the black mummy is derived from the fact that the mummified child is a black African, but was found in times 1958 when the albino, well, I don't want to use that word, when the so-called white peoples claimed that the white peoples and mulattoes of North Africa were indigenous peoples. They're all mulattoes and hybrid peoples over there in North Africa. Middle East was Northeast Africa first, but they changed the name in the 1940s. I believe American news correspondents. You don't have a Middle West, you don't have a Middle North, you don't have a Middle South, so how the hell do you get a Middle East? But that's a story for another time. Okay, so we're just going to go through this, and we talk about the first whites in Africa, because they didn't come from Africa. Just because you trace to a place genetically does not mean you came from there physically. And here we see people, notice black peoples are very diverse, said to be the Cyrenian Libya king, which is nonsense, Archesilas of the Greek Batia dynasty, watching over the bundling of wool. Let me give you a little bit more better of this picture. But these are actually Greek peoples, found in Volsi, Etruria, Italy. Battus was actually a Minian who were among the original black people of Greece. See? Notice the shape of the nose. Black peoples are diverse, man. We don't all come with the same phenotypes as other groups. Minians and Pelagian chorus. Chorus was a style of, depicting images. Okay, and you can go through that. Make this a little bit smaller. Libyans. Okay, Libyans. The first white in Africa, you can read that. And it's so much. Morocco, the kingdom of Namibia, coin of Massinissa, first king of Namibia. Okay. And so we can just keep going through that, guys. Okay. You can go ahead and read. Okay. The Moroccans talks about those peoples. And we can go from there. But anyways, just giving you a quick synopsis. This is just an introduction to the page. It's nothing really. And we talk about Black Mediterranean history via coin and pottery. If you want to do that, you can click there. Okay, the oldest coin in the world. Okay, the ancient Anatolians, or modern-day Turkey. Notice woolly hair people's hair. Yeah. Notice the same trends. This one got plates. This one has plates. This is Anatolia, which is modern-day Turkey. Okay. These are coins. Okay. And you can go through there and read. They have a lot of fake coins also, so you have to be careful. Okay. And see the hoplites leaving home. You know, they try to say this was a style of painting, but obviously the original human beings were black-skinned peoples. Yep, all human beings, regardless of their hair type, skull shape, the shape of their nose, the shape of their lips, they were black-skinned peoples. The world's first human beings were diverse black peoples, okay? So you can just go through all these things, guys. Here's another good image. Depiction of a pottery kiln on a Corinthian Pinax. Black man. Black peoples. Okay, let's see this image. Dionysus and two Maenads, one holding a hair. And see what they did was, and a lot of times, if you look at these paintings, what they will do, they'll try to make it depicted as white women, or perhaps these people painted the men in their original colors, but to make distinction with the men and the women, or the women, they made this one lighter. But in some cases, they actually washed out the black paint. And you know, if you have black-skinned women and black-skinned men, you ain't gonna end up with black-skinned or white-skinned people. You're gonna end up with brown or yellow. Okay, so you can go through that, and you can look at different pictures. Okay, let's just go through each section, guys. Read. There's so much information to read, so much pictures to look at, so much scientific articles, and he's showing all the human beings with black skin. And you can go home after this, or you can go back. I want to go back, and you can click on this one, which is Ancient America's Cultural and Racial Affinities with Africa. You can go down the history of writing here. Their manifesto for the people who make this website, or manifesto of a sort. The True Negro. This is an interesting section. It says, it has come to our attention, let me make it a little bit bigger. It has come to our attention that some people are casting aspersions on the veracity of our site. This is because when they come upon pictures of ancient black Egyptians, original Europeans, Middle Easterners, etc., they say those are not black people. Black people do not look like that. They have come expecting to see pictures of that which the white man has maliciously defined as the true Negro. Example to the left. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay? True Negro. Right? Okay, now let's get back smaller. Okay? But in fact, that is only one of the many thousands of phenotypes, or nose shapes, lip shapes, skull shapes, shape of the eyes, phenotypes, what makes up what I can see about you, what makes you who you are. But in fact, that is only one of the many thousands of phenotypes produced by black people. See The Journey of Man, A Genetic Odyssey by Spencer Wells. Thus, when we provide pictures of the world's 4.65 billion blacks, including original Arabs, pure-blood Asians, Indians or Dravidians, pure-blood American Indians, Pacificans, Australians, and of course Africans, those indoctrinated to the racial propaganda of today's low genetic diversity, non-blacks, I don't use that word, born of ancient Dravidians in Asia, example Germanics, Slavs, and Turks. These non-blacks, with their meager 0.85 billion worldwide population who are not native to Europe as they claim, believe us to be doctoring the images. No, of course that does not make sense, but for non-blacks, believing nonsense is preferably to facing the truth. Please click here for the history of North Africa's Moors, Berbers, and Tuaregs, and some really great pictures of Africans and Arabs. And this is my favorite section, guys, because it shows you the diversity of black people. So you can go through here and look through reason and history for the term the true Negro and picture of modern Egyptians, debunking the white man's ethnic science, pictures of modern Ethiopians and Nigerians, history of North Africa, Berbers, Tuaregs, and Moors, with pictures. Arabs, who is an Arab, okay? Plus ancient statues, 19th century paintings, and pictures of modern Arabs. Arabs identified by genetics, Yemen, pictures of modern Nigerians and Somalis. It basically just shows you all the diversity of black peoples. And you can go through here and see 19th century paintings of Arabs and Moors, which was in 19th century is the 1800s. So click on portrait number 1. It shows you what Arabs and Berbers would have looked like, guys. And let's look. This is clearly a black man. Portrait of an Arab by Horace Vernet, 1789 to 1868. Arab, black man. A Sultan with a Tiger, Rudolf Ernst, 1854 to 1932. Okay, so we can go down a little bit further. It says a turban Moor. Okay, and then you have the answer, Ludwig Deutsch. Okay, you have a portrait of a Moor chieftain, Philadelphia Art Museum. Okay. The Emir, black man. Okay, let's make this a little smaller. The Arab Prince. Notice Arabs were black people. Okay, moving down. And you can just keep going through all the different pictures. Man in turban, the Moor king, etc. Tangerine. Okay, this goes through everything. This is one of my favorite pictures here. It shows Moor in headdress, 1830s. Slave of love. A young Moor. Okay? And you can go through each section, guys, and check it out. And this shows you what Arabs would have looked like. Portrait of an Arab man. Portrait of an Arab woman. Black peoples, guys. Okay, so we go to portrait number 2. We can see that people are becoming more mixed as we go through. Okay. You see they're becoming more mulattoes. More mulattoes. Because people are mixing with the newcomers, the redheads, the blondes, the blue eyes, the Gentile nations. Okay, this is portrait of an Arab. This is a profile on beach. Okay. This is a wonderful website. Portrait of Moroccans. Notice Morocco. By Spanish artist Jose Tapiro Ibarro, 1830 to 1930. So Morocco is still black up to this point, guy. And the Negress. Prisoners, Moroccans. So now they're becoming super mixed now. All these people are coming in. Okay. This is restored Benjamin Constant painting. The funeral day, scene from Morocco. This is a dead guy, black guy, Morocco, North Africa. Lacade Moroccan, Tahami. Morocco is still black. Potter in Tangier, Morocco, still black peoples. Men of Morocco, portrait of Moroccans. See? So you can go back, and if you want to go through, for example, guards and street scenes, slaves in the harems, why what happened, why Morocco is not, Egypt and all these places are not really black, especially Northeast Africa, now called Middle East, because they slept with all these non-black women producing hybrid peoples, and those hybrid peoples mixed with non-black skin peoples, and after time, the Arabs lost their identity, you see? Okay, so that's a section you can go through, guys. I'm going to go ahead. You can go home or you can click back. I'm going to go back. And we can go down. And it says, don't forget to make a note of the page where you leave off. When you come back, use the links below or above to pick where, excuse me, this thing popping up on my screen. Use the links below or above to pick up where you left off. That's why I need to do this thing on my computer, guys. The cell phone stuff is not going to work. Anyways, additional material menu, the history of Christianity, Hammurabi's law code, etc., and more pictures. Click here. Or you can press start button, boom, click there, and it'll go from the beginning of this whole storyline. You can read from the beginning, and if you believe in Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and blah, 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 and, all that nonsense. I don't believe in all that. And then once you get through the first part, you can click next, and it'll go to the next section. Or you can go home, or you can go back. So if you click next, which I just did, this is what McGraw-Hill education textbooks teaches students how humans evolve. Okay? Neanderthals and all that stuff. You go through all that nonsense. It talks about different peoples, Papua New Guinea, and all this stuff, all this good stuff, guys. There's so much information. You really just, we just have to start reading and studying, That's our problem. We, as black peoples, we don't read, we don't study. So now I'm going to go back. If you have any comments, guys, about this website, it's not my website. I'm just using it. It's a learning website. We can learn information, scientific research, and things like that. Please address comments to admin@realhistoryww.com. And then down here, finally, we can look at, for example, let me enlarge this, okay? How Jesus and the Hebrews became white, because we know that Jesus was, in the scriptures, his hair is of wool and his feet is of fine brass as if burned in the furnace. Anyways, the original black civilizations of Anatolia, modern Turkey, the original black civilizations of China, the Xi and Shang. They have beautiful pictures of these peoples of China. The original black cultures of Eastern Europe. The original black civilizations of Mexico, the Olmec. The original civilizations of South America, which was black skinned peoples first. The original black peoples of Hawaii, which is very interesting. The original black civilizations of Thailand. The original black civilizations of Cambodia, the original black civilizations of Vietnam, the original black civilization of Indonesia, the original black peoples of prehistoric America, the original black peoples of North America. And if you believe in this nonsense, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So if you want, you say, let's say we click on the original black civilizations of Thailand, which you still have a lot of black-skinned peoples there, but a lot of them have been watered down to brown by the invading pale-skinned peoples, okay? Remember, pale skin is a mutation from black skin, and every variation of black skin produced these peoples. Okay, guys, so this is just a brief synopsis, and let's say you wanted to click on the original black cultures of China, for example. You click on China number 1. Okay? It'll go over different sections. You have pictures and stuff like that. Okay? You can read through that. Okay, you can read that they were mixing mulatto Mongol, so-called albino Mongol, which is a mutation. Black Caucasian, because native human beings are black skin. Okay, and you can go through this. But remember, guys, a lot of things you see in the museums are fakes, man. Okay. Okay, you can read through all this stuff. These people have done so much evil. They hide the truth in plain sight. So we have to read to figure it out. You read through it. Okay. You can read this part right here. Chinese grandmother, Australian grandmother. Note that the main difference between the Chinese grandmother and the Australian grandmother is darker skin and the lack of the epicanthic fold on the Australian woman. Yeah, because the original ones were black skinned peoples. They just been watered down. And you look at these peoples, the Dravidians, the original blacks of northern India, southern India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, which was called the Indus Valley, were many variations of black peoples, typically with straight hair, as we can see here. Black girl with straight hair. What is black? A color. Australian black man, or Aboriginal as they call them. The San people, it just basically shows you, the variations between the Asian peoples and the so-called black peoples. And it goes to albinisms, mutations from black skin peoples. This is shows you, needless to say, admixture is an ongoing process. Adriana Miyamoto, current Miss Japan, child of an American black man and a Japanese mother. Were her father a San or a Himba man, how would she look any different from any other yellow, brown Chinese? Yellow skin is a hybrid color, brown is a hybrid color. How else would she look different from a yellow, brown Chinese, Japanese, Korean, or South Asian? Like Middle Easterners and Latin Americans, Asians are mostly the mulattoes of albinos and native blacks. That's a scientific fact. Hybrid peoples, especially when you start looking at the pictures of the original blacks of Asia. Okay? So he goes through different things. Shows you here of a black family. Nigerian parents in London with their third child. Blonde hair, blue-eyed baby with pinkish reddish skin. See? Yep, they all come from black skin peoples. But depending on the variations of blacks. The so-called white people came from the black Persians, the black Aryans, the black Dravidians, and the black Turks. Because the majority of the languages, or all the languages they speak, did not originate in Europe, but in Turkey. Okay? And you can just keep going, guys. It's a lot to swallow. It's a lot to read. I'm not going to go through all of it. Notice how they washed off the black paint of the King Shin dynasty, and they washed off the paint. Okay? They washed off the paint. See, it's washed off. It's black people's. Notice the black paint on these Chinese peoples. The black paint. Yep, many variations of black peoples. All the paint has been washed off. Okay. You have different pictures. And these pictures basically shows you the original blacks of China. Okay, these are the rebellion boxers. Okay, these are black peoples. The original peoples of China, original Asians. Look at these beautiful black peoples. Black. See, Asia's still black. Black skin peoples. Black skin peoples. Asians. Note that the people doing the rebellion and getting killed are dark-skinned Chinese, and the people they are rebelling against and who are aligned with the Europeans are near white mulattoes. It looks like there was a black genocide in China too. Of course there was. The near-white appearance of most modern Chinese seems to bear that out. Yep, they murdered out the original black cultures. A funeral procession in Shanghai, China. Okay. Daguerreotype of Chinese workers during the California gold rush. Yeah, dark-skinned peoples. Keystone stereo view of Chinese boys plowing the field. Black-skinned peoples. Okay. Black Chinese with Bactrian camels packing supplies in Peking along the Great China wall. All human beings, people had black skin first. Look at this black Chinese man. But they're all displaced by pale-skinned peoples. Mongol race confusion? No, not quite up to the high yellow standards. Rose of Texas, Japanese tennis star Naomi Osaka, Haitian Japanese. The comedy duo on the right, who call themselves Kano and Murakami, said the 21-year-old former world number one was too sunburned and needed bleach. Less melanin albinos and near albinos have the more delusional they become. Yep, they're hybrid peoples. Okay. Okay. So they just say fear of getting dark skin. These people are sick peoples, guys. But anyways, it just goes through the whole section. And you can go ahead and read and enjoy yourself. These are some paintings that shows Japanese screen titled Barbarians of the South. The Portuguese attributed to Kano Domi. And notice Portuguese are still majority black skins in the 1593 to 1600s. Okay? They're getting lighter and lighter. Talk about Japanese. This is Japan. The hats worn by the men sitting on the left and photo quality suggests circa 1870s. Now, let's see if we find any. It's a black dude right there. Okay, and you can go through and read. The Anu with a bear. The Anu were the original peoples of Japan. Okay. See, they're getting lighter now. They're mixing. The elders of Anu. That's the black one there. They've been watered down a little bit. The Anu. These are the mulattoes, the hybrids. Okay. And the story legend of Samurai Yasuki. Okay. This photo is often used to illustrate the story of Yasuki, the supposed African samurai of the Japanese warlord Nobunaga Oda. Since Yasuki's time was supposedly the 1500s and cameras weren't invented yet, and the picture is of a Mongol, not an African. The picture only true value is that it shows a black-skinned Mongol with a sword. Nothing particularly unique here. So you have to be careful, guys. Okay, so as you go through these pages, remember, these people, they don't like reality, guys. So we have to start studying, we have to start reading, and we have to educate ourselves. If not, we're going to keep being in the same situation where our history and cultures are hijacked by people who weren't even here because they were created last. How were they created? From brown eyes, we get blue eyes. From brown eyes, we get green eyes and hazel eyes and gray eyes. From black hair, we get red hair and blonde. From woolly hair, we get straight. When woolly hair, which is dominant, mixes with straight hair, which is recessive, we get the subdominant or the hybrid curly hair. And from black skin, we get non-black skin, okay? Esau came out first and he was red. Jacob came out. They didn't mention his color. Why? Jacob was a Hebrew of the Hebrews. And if we go down to King Solomon, who descends from Jacob, he says, I am black but comely. And Jesus descended from King Solomon. And Jesus, it says, his hair is of wool and his feet is of fine brass as if it was burnt in a furnace. So we know that God separated the nations through genetic manipulation. Excuse me, I don't want to see that. And so, guys, with that, I just encourage you to check out the website. Once I get everything going on the big computer screen, we're going to be rolling. All right, guys, enjoy your day. Thank you for checking out Daily Read at www.realhistorywww.com, and WW stands for worldwide. Okay, until next time, guys.